Hi friends, this movie is one of the highest rated films of the year 2025. With a 7.5 rating on IMDb, the story is full of twists and turns. At the beginning of the movie, we meet a girl named Iris who talks about her past. She says she sometimes feels like something is missing in her life, as if she has no real purpose. But two major events changed everything for her. The first was when she met the love of her life, Josh, at a supermarket. The second was when she killed Josh. To understand what happened, the story takes us back to the past. After their first meeting at the supermarket, Iris and Josh started dating. Iris loved Josh deeply. One day, they planned a trip to a farmhouse owned by one of Josh's friends. The place was very remote and surrounded by a dense forest. As soon as they arrive at the farmhouse, they first meet their friend Kat. Then they meet the rest of the group, which includes Eli, Eli's partner Patrick, Kat, and finally Sergey, the owner of the property and Kat's boyfriend. This is Iris's first time meeting Sergey, but she immediately finds him strange and unsettling. After freshening up, Iris joins the group. They start talking about how they met their partners. When it's Iris's turn, she shares that she met Josh at a supermarket, and from the very first moment, she knew she would do anything for him. While she speaks romantically, the others give her strange looks. Meanwhile, Kat pulls Iris aside for a private conversation. She confesses that Sergey is actually married and doesn't treat her well. Iris is surprised to hear this. Soon after, the group begins their party. The next morning was bright and peaceful. Iris woke up early and asked Josh to go for a walk with her, but Josh, still half asleep, hugged her and told her to go ahead, saying he'd join her soon. So Iris went out alone. While walking, she suddenly noticed a knife in her pocket. She had no idea how it got there, which made her feel uneasy. As she continued walking, she saw Sergey by the pool. When he noticed her alone, he started flirting with her. Iris didn't like it and tried to leave by making an excuse, but Sergey stopped her. He then asked her to help him apply sunscreen on his back. Even though she felt uncomfortable, she agreed. But suddenly, Sergey showed his true colors. He grabbed Iris's hand and started behaving inappropriately. She tried to push him away, but he wouldn't stop. Panicking, Iris looked around for something to defend herself and found a glass bottle. She quickly grabbed it and smashed it against Sergey's head. Sergey fell down, furious. He grabbed Iris by the throat and started choking her. In desperation, she remembered the knife in her pocket, pulled it out, and stabbed him in the neck. Sergey collapsed and died on the spot. Terrified, Iris ran back inside the house, covered in blood. Everyone was shocked to see her like that and asked what had happened. Crying, Iris told them everything. Josh looked scared, so Iris tried to reassure him, saying she had acted in self-defense and never meant to kill Sergey. She kept repeating it, shouting in panic. Then something strange happened. Josh simply said, "Go to sleep." As soon as he said those words, Iris suddenly shut down, as if she were a robot. At that moment, it became clear that Iris wasn't human, even though she had always believed she was. She had emotions just like a human, but she was actually something else entirely. The four remaining friends now had to decide what to do. After thinking it over, they agreed to call the police. However, they realized that if the police got involved, Iris wouldn't be arrested like a human. Since she was a robot, she would be handed back to the company that created her and then destroyed. Kat went to call the police, but before doing so, Josh said he wanted to say goodbye to Iris one last time, so he turned her back on. As soon as Iris reactivated, she panicked. She looked at herself, confused and terrified, asking what was happening. Josh told her they had to do this because she had committed a murder. Iris desperately tried to explain that it was an accident and begged him to believe her. Josh sighed and said, "I know it was an accident. You can't lie because you don't have the setting for it." Hearing the word setting made Iris pause. She asked him what he meant. That's when Josh revealed the shocking truth. She was a robot, a companion robot that people buy to be their partners. Iris refused to believe it. She insisted that she had real memories of school, college, and meeting Josh. But Josh calmly explained that all those memories were artificially inserted into her system. Then to prove it, he took out his phone and started controlling her, making her speak in different languages. Iris was horrified as she realized she had no control over her own voice or actions. At this point, we are shown a glimpse of the past. Josh had been struggling in life, feeling incredibly lonely. To cope with his loneliness, he had rented Iris, a robot designed to be a perfect girlfriend. The company delivered Iris to Josh's house, and an employee customized her settings according to Josh's requests. Josh made sure that Iris didn't even know she was a robot. He also reduced her intelligence level so that she would be easier to control and completely devoted to him. Additionally, Iris was programmed not to harm any humans, animals, or anyone else. Once the employee left, Josh connected Iris to his phone and uploaded artificial memories, including the scene of them meeting at the supermarket, which never actually happened. After hearing all this, Iris was in shock. She asked, "If I'm a robot, then why can I feel emotions?" Josh simply replied, "It's all just programming." As they were talking, Kat walked in, frustrated. She told Josh to shut Iris down immediately and then stormed off. Josh followed Kat to talk to her, and during their conversation, the second major twist of the story was revealed. Everything that had happened was part of their plan. Josh and Kat had wanted to kill Sergey for a long time. Knowing that Iris was a robot, they used her to commit the murder without her realizing it. Josh had secretly placed the knife in Iris's pocket that morning. Before she left for her walk, he modified her settings, increasing her self-defense and aggression levels. He also turned off the setting that prevented her from harming others. They knew that Sergey would find Iris alone at the pool, and that he would likely try to take advantage of her. In self-defense, Iris would kill him, and that's exactly what happened. By using Iris, Josh and Kat ensured that Sergey's death looked like an accident, and that all the blame would fall on her. Their real motive, the $20 million hidden in Sergey's locker at the farmhouse. They planned to split the money between them, letting Iris take the fall for the crime. Iris was panicking, struggling to free herself from the chair. As she moved, she accidentally fell and found the knife on the floor. A little later, Josh came to shut her down, but before he could do anything, Iris suddenly attacked him. She grabbed his phone and ran out of the house. Realizing she had escaped, Josh and Kat rushed after her. However, by the time they got outside, Iris had already run past Patrick and Eli, leaving the house. Josh and Kat knew they couldn't search the entire forest alone, so they told Patrick and Eli the truth about their plan. To convince them to help, they showed them the money hidden in the house. Seeing the huge amount of money, Eli immediately agreed to join them. They started discussing how to divide the money. However, Patrick was not given a share because he was also a robot. Yes, Eli had bought a companion robot boyfriend, just like Josh had bought Iris. But unlike Iris, Patrick knew he was a robot. Now, with everyone on the same page, they all set out to find Iris. Meanwhile, Iris was hiding deep in the forest. She took a moment to check the settings on Josh's phone, which she had stolen. She discovered that Josh had lowered her intelligence setting from 60% to 40%. For the first time, Iris realized the full extent of Josh's betrayal. He had been controlling her all along. She knew she had to escape. Her first step was to increase her intelligence to 100% so she could think at full capacity. With her mind now fully active, she analyzed different ways to escape. She quickly realized a major problem. Her clothing would make her too easy to spot in the forest. She needed another plan. Then it hit her. She had Josh's phone. That meant she could control Josh's automatic car. If she reached the car in time, she could drive away and escape. Determined, Iris started running toward the house. But along the way, she spotted Eli and Patrick nearby. She quickly hid behind a tree and listened to their conversation. From what they were saying, she figured out their entire plan about the money. Just then, Josh's phone started ringing. Eli and Patrick heard the sound and immediately turned in her direction. Realizing she had been spotted, they began chasing after her. At one point, Eli catches Iris and a violent struggle breaks out between them. He tries to kill her, but Iris grabs the gun from his driver's holster and shoots him, escaping once again. Seeing this, Patrick is devastated and starts crying over Eli's death. By then, Kat and Josh arrive at the scene. Without wasting any time, Josh runs after Iris to stop her. Iris manages to outrun Josh and gets into his car. Josh rushes to the car and bangs on the window, demanding that she open the door. Inside, Iris tries using a voice command to start the car, but the car's AI doesn't recognize her voice. Thinking quickly, she imitates Josh's voice to trick the system. Just as the AI recognizes the command and the car starts moving, Josh grabs a stone and begins smashing the window. Despite this, the car successfully drives onto the main road, but as soon as it reaches the highway, it suddenly stops. Josh had reported the car as stolen, so the system locked it down. Now Iris is trapped, panicking. Just then, Josh calls her. His tone completely changes as he tries to manipulate her, apologizing and pretending to fix their relationship. He begs her to come back, acting as if he truly cares, but Iris isn't falling for it anymore. She has outgrown his control. Without hesitation, she coldly breaks up with him and hangs up the call. Back in the jungle, Josh finds Patrick and orders him to go after Iris, but Patrick refuses. He is too shocked and heartbroken over Eli's death. His companion is gone, and now he feels completely alone. Seeing this, Josh picks up Eli's phone and hacks into Patrick's settings. To take full control over Patrick, Josh resets his system. When Patrick reboots, Josh activates the love link setting, making Patrick believe that Josh is now his companion. Patrick's memories with Eli are erased, and now in his mind, those memories are replaced with Josh. Iris manages to break the window and escape from the car, but just then, a police car arrives. Since Iris cannot lie, she comes up with a plan. She starts speaking in Russian, and truthfully admits that she was running away after committing a murder. The police officer, not understanding Russian, is confused. Then he spots the blood-soaked knife inside the car. Realizing something is wrong, he draws his gun on Iris. Iris has no choice. She stays still, knowing she is about to be arrested. But before the officer can do anything, Patrick arrives. Patrick violently attacks the officer, beating him mercilessly until his face is completely destroyed. Then he kills him. Afterward, Patrick grabs Iris, shuts her down, and throws her into the police car. He then drives back to the house. When Josh and Kat see a police car arriving, they immediately panic. Fearing the worst, they ask Patrick, "Where's the cop?" Patrick calmly points to the trunk and says, "He's in there." Shocked, Josh and Kat open the trunk, only to find the officer's dead body inside. They are horrified by how many people have died just because of their plan. Kat, realizing things have spiraled completely out of control, decides she wants to leave. A huge argument breaks out between her and Josh. She blames Josh for everything, saying that if he hadn't turned Iris back on, none of this chaos would have happened. She insists she is taking her share of the money and leaving. Josh desperately tries to stop her, but Kat refuses to listen. Frustrated and enraged, Josh turns to Patrick and orders him to stop Kat. Patrick grabs a knife, sneaks up behind Kat, and stabs her to death. Now it's nighttime. Josh has tied Iris to the dining table with handcuffs and reactivates her. Looking at her coldly, he tells her, "Everything that has happened, all the people who have died, it's all because of you." He shifts all the blame onto Iris. But Iris doesn't stay silent. She boldly reveals that she had already figured out Josh's plan. She knew he deliberately set her up to kill Sergei. She tells Josh, "I am not responsible for this, you are." Then she insults and humiliates him, calling him out for being a coward who used her for his own benefit. Josh's ego is completely shattered. Furious, he decides to punish her. He reduces her intelligence to 0 and orders her to place her hand on a burning candle. Iris obeys Josh's command, placing her hand on the burning candle. Her synthetic skin melts away, and though she is in unbearable pain, she cannot pull away. As the flames spread, a fire breaks out. Panicked, Josh orders Patrick to put it out with water. Once the fire is controlled, Josh hands Iris a gun and commands her to end her own life. Iris breaks down in tears, unwilling to do it, but her programming forces her to obey. Crying helplessly, she pulls the trigger and shoots herself in the head. Iris is gone. Josh's plan to cover everything up. With Iris dead, Josh puts his cover-up plan into motion. He calls 911 and the company that created Iris, preparing his fake story. When the company employees arrive, Josh has Patrick dressed in a police uniform and introduces him as an officer. Josh claims, "I was tied up, but when the officer arrived, he freed me." When asked how everything started, Josh spins his lie. "Kat and I were just flirting, and Iris couldn't handle it. She became jealous, tied me up, and started killing everyone one by one. I somehow managed to call the police, and that's why they came to rescue me. A fatal mistake." One of the employees asks, "Who killed Iris?" Patrick, who cannot lie, immediately reveals the truth. "Iris killed herself." Josh, caught off guard, quickly plays along. "Yes, she shot herself in the heat of the moment," he says, trying to convince the team. The company officer then responds, "We're just here to retrieve her." Then he adds something that shatters Josh's confidence. "We'll take Iris's CPU, analyze the last recorded events, and submit a full report to the police." Josh realizes he's in trouble. Josh's face goes pale. Desperate, he asks, "Her CPU was damaged from the gunshot, right?" The officer shakes his head. "No, her CPU is stored in the stomach. It's completely intact." Josh panics. If the company retrieves Iris's data, she will expose the truth. Now he knows he's trapped. After that, the officer places Iris in the van and activates recovery mode to restore her system. Sensing danger, Josh sends Patrick to attack. Patrick opens fire, killing one of the employees. Another employee, Teddy, manages to escape. Meanwhile, inside the van, Iris's system fully reboots. She is now completely functional again. Outside, Patrick catches Teddy and is about to kill him when Iris appears, holding a taser. She stuns Patrick, stopping him from attacking. However, when Iris tries to attack Patrick directly, she fails. Patrick smirks and tells her, "Your settings have reset to default. You can't harm anyone." He releases Teddy and turns on Iris, preparing to kill her. He shocks her repeatedly, causing her immense pain. Iris tries to break Patrick's programming. Through the pain, Iris desperately tries to reason with him. She says, "Josh is using you just like he used me. He's a selfish predator." Patrick refuses to believe her. "You're lying." But then, Iris reminds him, "My settings are default now. You know I can't lie." Hearing this, Patrick hesitates. Patrick recovers his memories. As he focuses, his old memories start resurfacing. He remembers the truth. His real love was Eli, not Josh. But then, reality hits him hard. Eli is dead. Grief overwhelms Patrick. His mind spirals into shock. Unable to handle the truth, Patrick makes a tragic decision. He kills himself. Josh was attempting to escape with all the money, when he suddenly heard the voices of Sergey, Kat, and Eli coming from the hall. Fear crept in, but before he could react, Iris stepped in front of him. Panicked, he reached for his phone to regain control over her, only to realize that it was futile. Teddy had reset her entirely as a gesture of gratitude, making her immune to any external commands. Now free from manipulation, Iris confronted Josh with a gun. However, Josh, ever the manipulator, attempted to lure her back into his grasp with sweet words, playing on her emotions. Just as it seemed to work, he seized the opportunity to attack, knocking her down and relentlessly beating her as he dragged her across the floor. In a final, desperate move, he reached for her gun, intending to shoot her in the stomach. But at that moment, Iris called his name one last time before swiftly driving an electronic tool directly into his head. The impact was brutal. Josh was killed instantly. As morning arrived, Iris took a moment to freshen up. Removing the synthetic skin from her robotic hand, she felt a surge of newfound confidence. This was her true self. In the final scene, we see her taking $20 million and setting off for her home. A fresh start awaited her. This had been her ultimate goal all along. Now she was free to embrace a new life, and that's where the story ends. What do you think? Does it deserve a 7.4 rating? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!